everybody. Welcome back to our UDL era video series. This is our episode 6 with a slight twist. I have my friend and colleague, Dana Sheehan, here with me, and we are doing this via Zoom during the pandemic. Very exciting. So nothing is going to keep us apart, Dana, nothing at all.
I know. We just really needed to keep this video series going throughout this pandemic. So why not just start it up?
Anyway, we have a wonderful special guest with us today. Dana, would you like to introduce our special guest?
I would love to. We have Assistant Professor Nicole Brewer. She works at Goodwin University with us, and I have been trying to get her on this show for years.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Nicole, we usually just kind of jump right in and get going so everybody can hear what you're doing. And so I know that you were a UDL teaching fellow as well as myself and Dana. And I know that you were like UDLizing your classes and everything, but Dana and I are really, really curious to see how you have changed things during this pandemic.
I'm teaching an English course, a developmental English course. So the course was originally fully on ground. So when we made the switch online, I wanted to make the environment for my students very similar to, or as similar as I could, to the environment that we had on ground. So we were a very kind of tight-knit group. There's a lot of discussion, a lot of community. So one of the assignments that students have in the English class is they write a research paper. Students would write a draft, and then I would give them feedback on that paper. So that they could write their revisions. In the classroom, I would have the students come in, we'd have a regular class, I would have them do some discussion together, some group work, some pairing off, and during that time, I would meet individually with the students to talk about their paper and how they can go about the revision, just about 5 minutes with each student. But you know, in COVID, being online, I didn't have that opportunity. So what I would do is I would ask the students, give me 3 things that you have questions about on the feedback. What didn't you understand? What do you want to know more about? And then I would actually create a video for them based on those questions. And I would just go through the paper, answering their questions and highlighting everything that they may have had to work on when they revised their paper. It kind of personalized it for them. We still had that feedback, and I could also encourage them when I'm looking at their paper. So I could say, for example, like, Dana, this is a great paper. I love your topic. I love how you addressed it in the first paragraph. One of the things that students have a lot of difficulty with is really making that feedback, I want to say come alive or make sense when they write their papers and when they revise those papers. So they may see something that says, hey, there's a run-on here, or hey, I don't really understand what you mean here. Can you add some examples or something? And they don't really have the tools yet because they're still learning how to make that a reality.
That's amazing. And one of the things that I think is so interesting, especially being home, all of us being home and all of the colleges and all of the world going online, is students are so used to being able to talk to the professor and hearing the professor's voice so they can hear their intonation and take it for what it is. But with what I've noticed going online, especially with my classes that were initially on ground, is that the students started to not really catch what my notes meant. So even if they were getting my written notes through our online tools, they weren't understanding them now that we were suddenly online and they couldn't ask them to me. So getting that video, so it's your voice and your face, and they can see all the inflections of what you're trying to say. It gives them that sense of being on ground again. I think it's so amazing that you were able to do that. Do you have like specific programs that you have been using, or is it more of like a PowerPoint thing, or how are you recording them?
With my laptop, I can record my screen. So I create a video where I record my screen. I make a PDF file of the feedback that I give them, and I can just go through it and even highlight things, point to things, maybe do a search on the Goodwin website or on the library website to kind of show them how to look for information, add things in. So there's a lot that you can do in about 5 to 7 minutes, which the videos work. And then they have that targeted feedback based on the questions that they had.
For Goodwin professors and for other colleges and universities that use Blackboard Collaborate has that option as well, right? Karrie
Yes.
and Nicole?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's amazing. So I remember having a conversation with you, Nicole, like a month or so ago about a website that you went to that you could record your voice and get a link to.
Yes. So I also like to use vocaroo. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. So I
Yes,
also use it for advising. That's another hat that I have. But early on, when when we transitioned over, I would record. I would send an email, and it'd be kind of lengthy. And I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be hard to process for some students. So what I would also do is I would speak about everything that was in the email as well. So the students had the option to read it or listen to me explain it to them. And I think it was a little helpful for students that process differently.
I think it would be very helpful, and multiple means of representation again, along with UDL. And Dana knows that I've taught in the communications department and how important it is to have the, like you said, the nonverbal, so they can see you or they can hear your voice, your inflection, your tone. I think it's an awesome idea. I think you just took the ball and ran with it, and it sounds fantastic. I think, Dana, the word you're looking for is fantastic.
Not only is it fantastic, but I've decided that I'm only going to do that with my emails now. So when I have to email the head of the English department later, I'm just going to record my voice and send it to him that way. I think that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to forget how to type, and I'm just going to only use vocaroo.
And vocaroo is so easy. It's a simple, easy to use. So if anybody out there watching our video wants me to share the information with them or show them, it's so simple and easy. The interface is so straightforward. And that's a perfect tool.
So Nicole, I just wanted to ask a couple of questions about, I know that we were all in different UDL cohorts, but what actually drew you to Universal Design for Learning in the first place?
I am really, really interested in social justice. So that is why I'm an educator. And so the thing about UDL is that UDL and social justice go right together. So the way that I see social justice issues is about looking at the environment that people live in, right? And seeing how things like sexism and racism and homophobia make barriers for people to, live and be successful. And so UDL talks about barriers, obviously, as we know. And so the thing that really drew me to it is that the framework or the way that I think about social justice is the same way that UDL thinks about the learning environment. So it just goes hand in hand.
How would you say, now that you've done the UDL, and I know that one of the classes you teach all the time has a social justice theme, so would you say that once you started incorporating UDL into your social justice themed course, did you see any differences?
Yes, I think the students are more invested. I think UDL really, with that engagement piece of UDL, I think students really are able to connect to the material, and I'm able to use UDL guidelines, principles to help those students find themselves in the material. I think something that I think we're all getting better at this as educators over the years, but I think something that we could struggle with is making sure that students, no matter who they are, where they are, can find themselves in the material. And so I think, with that social justice theme and adding in the UDL component, students can see themselves and they're invested because it's something that is meaningful to them on a whole nother level. It's not just about writing essays. It's not just about passing a course, but it's something they can take with them later on in their lives and in their professional lives.
I've taught one of your social justice themed courses quite a few times, and it's really interesting to see just the way these students grab hold to all of the themes that are in there, and putting the UDL like alternative means of doing things has been just, I found it really beneficial. So I enjoy teaching that class you made.
Oh, well, great. I'm glad.
One thing I was thinking about too, just like what's happening in the world today, not only the pandemic, but everything that's going on in this world, I mean, it just like brings those experiences home to the students. So I was just thinking about that as Nicole was talking about social justice issues and things, and having those like real world examples or real time examples and these experiences must be just like the perfect time to be teaching this class.
It is. And, the students want, doing the research paper and having them be able to choose their topic. And then having those social justice themes available to them, they really are able to make, like you said, real world connections right now that really influence them and are meaningful.
It's fantastic.
That's awesome. So I don't mean to like just call you guys out on this, but I know that you two did a class together, right?
We did. I'm going to let Nicole talk about it. We did a great class and we really tried to keep a lot of UDL components into it. It came out awesome. Actually, at one point I did use it as an example, and our provost, Danielle Wilkin, absolutely loved the like weekly goals and things that you had put in. So if you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about that would be fantastic.
There's a bachelor's degree that we offer. That's a professional studies bachelor's degree. And the final course for that, the capstone course, professional studies capstone, I worked on revamping that course with Karrie and adding in UDL components. So that was a really fun experience, and I thought it turned out pretty well. We, like Karrie said, we added in goals, weekly goals. And there are a lot of like multiple means. And I think one of the things that I like most about the course is that students have the option of presenting their final project in whatever form they feel is best for their professional field. So, it could be a regular, oral presentation. It could be something recorded. They could actually go to their professional setting and give a presentation and write about that, record it. There's so many options that students have with that, and I really like the fact that we were able to use UDL to make it more meaningful for the students.
I think it worked out really, really nicely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I've done a lot of courses recently, but I believe we used all open educational resources too in that course. So we have no textbooks, so no cost for the students too. So.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That was a win-win.
You can't see, but on one of Karrie's arms, it just says OER because she's like #1 fan of open resources. So like,
I got a new tattoo during the pandemic. Yeah. OER, UDL, it's all there.
Yep, it's all there. So awesome. Nicole, I just wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to do our COVID season of the UDL video series, because it's been awesome to have you here and it's been so great to see you guys.
It is. It's really great to see you guys too. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you again for having me.
We'll do it again real soon because you keep coming up with great ideas.
I know. Definitely.